Hello, everybody. Haunt Me viewers. How are you guys doing tonight? Anna, how are you as well?
I am making sure my mic is not muted, which it's not. I'm okay. I'm all right.
Perfect.
It has been a long week. How are you?
It's been a long week, including last week. I'm including that one in there. Last week we gave you guys a special Phasmophobia Tie Tuesday of us being ghost
Week is
hunters,
this
playing a
week.
ghost hunters game. It was a good time. It was very scary. So please feel free to enjoy that if you guys need a palate cleanser after this talk back. You'll notice that Carol's not here tonight. She's a bit under the weather, so we gave her the night off because we're cool people like that. We figured that was kind. So for the next half hour or so, you guys have to put up with Anna and I. I hope that's okay. Look at just give you guys a few minutes before we get into this so that you can join in the stream. I want to say hello to Melissa. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing tonight? Let us know. Please just post in that comment book right there, and we will talk to you soon. Anna, how has your week been so far? I know it's
Well,
only day two.
I am officially what?
I know I said it's only day two of the official week, but how are you doing so far?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean it feels like just last week part two, But I took another trip around the sun, so that was cool.
That's right.
I my house has never been more organized. I'm here, and that's good.
You guys, Anna had a birthday on Saturday. She's the last of us to, actually, no, Krista is the last of us to experience the pandemic birthday quarantine phenomena. Did you do anything fun inside?
I sorted socks.
That sounds like a
So
wonderful
no.
birthday. No, I
And
mean,
honestly, like my sock drawer has never been more organized. Like they all have matches. It's a thing.
sounds like a beautiful birthday, Anna. That was wonderful.
I'm just grateful to be here.
Anyways, I think that's enough time to let people join. They should be jumping in soon. Let's talk about the episode a little bit. You want to dive into
Yeah,
that? So
sure.
this, for everyone that wants to follow along with all of season seven, what we did was we filmed at a place in Maine to start. And then we went on a road trip to the Midwest because we were invited out to the Belvoir Winery and a couple other places along the way, including tonight's episode, which is Poasttown School. And so we decided that we were going to fly out, drive most of the way back, and then fly out from not Ohio, Illinois. Is that where we left?
Cincinnati, Ohio
Cincinnati.
is where we flew back from.
So what you guys are watching in season seven is just an intense marathon of paranormal investigation. So if you're watching Poasttown and wonder why it's a little bit weird, it's because we're on night five of like no sleep. So what you see is the best that we could possibly hope to give you in this adventure. Anna, what was the road trip like for you overall, and ending at Poasttown?
So I look forward to basically anytime we get to go out and investigate, obviously. But the road trip I think was especially exciting because it was just going to be a week of hanging out with my favorite people doing what I love. What I didn't account for is just how exhausting it would be. I don't function well on no sleep like most humans, but yeah, it was like I think you can you can tell from this episode that I'm just a little dead-eyed. Like there's not much happening there.
I think we all
Um
are, and it came down to a team effort to have cohesive, useful thought. I think that's when the team became most important. When each of us were capable of creating one third of a thought process together as a team, our powers unite, and we were able to actually pull out an idea or two from the Post Town episode.
I wonder in the grand scheme of things if our inability to think like we typically would, if that affected how the spirits interacted with us.
As in, do you think that we missed stuff, or they also, since we didn't bring the big energy, we didn't get big energy too?
Kinda, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think we always talk about like the world around you is going to react to what you give it. So if we weren't giving it much, maybe it just wasn't there.
Hey, I mean, we're
Um,
trying though. Like we
yeah,
ran through. We had a good game plan. We stuck to it. We deviated when we needed to. We did a ton of debunking, which you guys will get to see a clip of that in a little bit. Um, but first, it looks like here, Anna, Phil from Knock Once for Yes said that he was meaning to ask you what the pendulum-looking thing was that you were using in the doll room with me. What were you doing there?
I actually don't think that was mine. I saw that. It's been a while since I watched this episode, but I saw the pendulum, and that was not my pendulum. Um,
What?
yeah, so it was not mine.
Did you find it in the school and just start using it, or what?
And maybe I saw it on the table and I was like, this is a good spot. I have zero recollection,
Well,
but
I'm
it's
glad
not
that
mine.
there's your answer, Phil. I hope you enjoy that. There's a question over here from Chris Piper. Did you pop the balloon in the gym because you were tired or because it was a lousy balloon? 100% because it was a lousy balloon. There's no way that I would have popped that on purpose. One, on an investigation to scare the crap out of Anna and Carol. Also, because a glowing balloon in a dark gym went off like a flashbang in my face, and I was blinded and I couldn't hear for a few seconds after in a haunted house. So that's definitely not uh, where I want to be at any given moment. So thanks for that question. Yeah, that was. I don't think you could stage something like that. That was awful. So, other things that happened that night, Anna, just and people in the chat, what were your favorite moments that you guys saw, so that we can know what we could focus on, whether they were on purpose or not? For me, one of my favorite things that we did, Anna, I just love that doll room. There's a lot that didn't make the episode, like reading the whole story to the children there, scoping it out, looking at the shadow play between the broken blinds. What was one of your favorite parts? And same to anyone watching in the audience too.
I think the biggest part for me, sorry, technology is going off all around me. I think the biggest part for me was actually just that we got to work together in that moment. I think what I love about our friendship and about us working together as a team is we have the same goal, but we're two different sides of a coin. So it was really cool to like kind of to do the metaphysical part and do the emotional part, but also be on the same grounded level as you, which I typically am not. Like my first go-to is like, great, we found a ghost. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, actually it's just a car. So
It could be just a car.
I think being able to work in tandem with you that way. Well, yeah, was great.
It could. It looks like other people's favorite
How
memories.
did you
Grant Wilson enjoyed the balloon pop. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Grant. That's very on brand. He also enjoyed the farting. That's good. You guys are meeting the real Grant. There you have it. Russ Bailey enjoyed the whole investigation. Loved the intercom system. Did you work with that with Carol at all? Because I never went in there. I don't think besides the.
I didn't. You're asking me these questions and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much more we could have done. Like, did I do enough as an investigator? But we really did try to in that room, we really did try to recreate the scene that would exist there, and
Right.
And that was fun in and of itself. Carol.
Anna, you're in theater, and so I want to ask you this question. How do you think where a lot of what we do, I don't did that night, and not so much with trigger objects, but a lot of what we did was recreating scenarios that would have happened inside the school. With your theater background, acting it out, and the energy work that you have to do in order to get into a scene, can you kind of explain why we were doing things like that in an investigation itself?
Yeah, so I think memories are very are strong and have a wide and a varied effect on people, but they have an effect. And I think by getting into these characters and putting ourselves in people's shoes and almost okay, to put it like super short, it's like basically the easiest way to time travel, right? So we can't go back to the time where these spirits lived, but we can empathize with them emotionally and recreate that time in the hopes that they feel that familiarity and connect with that. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense. So it's not a trigger object. You're kind of saying it's a trigger gesture.
Yeah, like a trigger emotion, you
Okay.
know? I mean, depending on, I guess the sense, but yeah, so, in the scene where Carol and I are in the principal's office, maybe it does evoke that sense of like
Right.
guilt when you get into trouble, or the fear, or not that we ever want to instill fear, but or the sort of mischievous nature of someone who would end up there in that
Yeah.
situation.
In like Carol's work, like posing as a student with a whoopee cushion can help gain trust because she's making fun of the teacher. Maybe that's something that there is normal to them as too. Looks like here, Kristen Nee said, "I love your show. You really try many ways to communicate and do a great job. Lots of love from Canada." Hello, Krista. How are you out there? Grant, Nick, producer Nick, Grant wants a deleted scene of my one-man show. That's painfully awful to do to yourself. You don't have to. That's rough to watch that over and over again. Did you finally got that clap at the end? Did you guys take more time to try to connect once you finally got that connection? Honestly, to be fair, we kind of called it shortly after that. We've been putting in a ton of effort and it doesn't show in the edit, but like to get that clap was about an hour's worth of effort at the end. And even though we got a communication, the follow-up questions that we asked weren't leading anywhere. It wasn't opening up a communication. So while it was possible evidence that something was listening to us, it wasn't a step forward that something wanted to communicate. So we after our questions after the clap failed, we kind of moved on with that. But Anne, do you want to talk a little bit about the grid you made at the end of the night and the metaphysical aspects of that, how that all looped in together?
Yeah. So typically, when we do the metaphysical side, we want to have one foot on the ground and then be reaching up, right? Metaphorically here. I sort of just like put all the crystals that were intended to basically do all the reaching. So it was like the Super 7, it was the Lemurian quartz, it was a lot of amethyst. It was all about just like opening our third eye and being like, hey everybody, here we are.
I think you moved too fast, Anna. Your camera sputtered out there a little bit. Well, Anna, are you still going?
I was. Oh, am I back?
You're back. Just don't move too fast for your camera, and it seems
okay.
like you're fine.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's like angry at my lighting or what. Yeah, so it really was about just taking our creating a psychic connection between us, honestly.
Yeah, I agree, and it's a good step forward, especially where what we were doing that night was a lot of debunking. So we were in Poasttown for quite a long time. We heard all the claims, and after doing tours, we were already starting to notice that some of the claims seemed like we could figure out where they were coming from almost. If you just put a very solid, grounded effort into trying to reduce the claims down to their most base form of it may be a pipe, it may be a broken curtain. A lot of the things that we were described could be explained away. And that isn't in an effort to, I don't know, mitigate anything of any of the claims that Poasttown has. It is more so to empower the evidence that can't be explained away. Because if you test a place over and over again and it wipes away all of the claims and the evidence except for 2 or 3 really good pieces, that really strengthens the paranormal claims that exist, because they're not fragile enough to be washed away as like maybe it was a car. So a lot of this episode, and some of what doesn't make the episode, is some really hardcore debunking techniques, term coined by our friend Grant, who's in the chat right now, popularized, I should say, the good old debunk word. So let's give you guys a taste of what we were doing and roll a quick clip that didn't make the episode, because it's not the most exciting work in the world when you're debunking, but I think it's really good to showcase really what Haunt Me is a lot about. So let's roll that clip of some quality debunk.
If you want to see what we're doing, you can follow us to the next room.
Do you light? Or do you want it dark? I kind of like it dark.
Let's try dark. Oh, I just stepped on something.
I don't even remember what's down there.
Let's find out.
Were you being led somewhere otherwise?
Not specifically. This leads to the base.
Rinsable room? No?
That's downstairs.
Oh, the dead coyote's in this closet.
Oh, no thank you.
Okay. There could be some...
Is this the staircase that the legend?
Yes, legend staircase.
Legend of Sarah?
Of screaming, right?
Yes.
But look.
The window.
That store stays open pretty late. And it's flooded with people. The window's open.
Yeah. Yeah, it could travel pretty easily. You know, down there though, like a tire squeak like that.
Mm-hmm. Echoing down.
Do you want to sit in that dark room down there?
That's where I'm going for my...
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I will definitely listen though to see what's echoing down from the open window, reverberating down and sounding crazy.
If we didn't have a rental, I'd try to skid the brakes.
Sounds like we could still do it because we have a rental.
Oof. All right, where you're going to the base.
What would be nice though? Let's debunk it. Do you mind just staying here for a minute?
No, I can do that.
I'll go outside if you're okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll just go down right there and just talk to you and
Okay.
let me know how easy it is to hear.
Yeah.
And then maybe go down and see.
then go from there.
Yep. And I'll come right back. I'll
Okay.
leave my bag of stuff here if you need it.
Sounds good. Go ahead, go lights out. I've got the recorder on.
You have the recorder on?
I have my recorder. Give me a 5 count and then say something.
Hello? Oh, hi, how are you doing? I'm just in the parking lot of the store next door. Having a conversation with a friend. What does it sound like in there? Traffic going by? Can you hear me?
All right, hang on.
Clear your hand. There we go. Okay. Yes. All right. Go ahead, go lights out. I've got the recorder on. I have my recorder. Give me a 5 count and then say something.
So, God, I can't stick my head out this window. So we can hear you. It is faint.
I don't feel comfortable with any piece of the staircase.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a fair call.
I mean, as long as this parking lot's open, it's just nothing but tar right up until here, and there's a bench.
Oh, if someone was sitting out on the bench, that would absolutely do it.
You can't really see through these doors, so
Right.
there's someone talking right now in that parking lot.
Yeah. Like that. All right, why don't you come back in?
Coming in.
So that's my zone. That unfortunately that got cut from the episode when there's actual like important things to show you guys. But as far as what we do, that is some of the stuff that lands on the cutting room floor, because even though I find it interesting, you guys are here for the paranormal aspects of it. But know that we're trying to balance stuff out, so that when we do present you guys with evidence, you can understand that we have done what we can to explain away anything else that could possibly be normal. Like that staircase, there was a claim in the staircase. The reason why we went outside is that people can hear screaming when they're in the staircase, or laughing, or children's voices, which with old windows as thin as they were didn't really sit right with me. So that's why we did this experiment where we had Anna be in the staircase to hear if she could to see if she could hear me yelling, screaming, laughing in the parking lot. And then upon discovering a bench right outside the window where people could come and gather, you can't with absolute certainty say that all of the things that people hear in that hallway aren't another person in the parking lot nearby just ruining an investigation for you. Anna, what are your thoughts about stuff like that?
It worries me that we are not disproving, but like basically saying other people's experiences aren't paranormal. And I think it's important to say that we're not trying to do that. And it popped into my head, and I was like, this whole time we've just debunked and debunked, but like, what about all these experiences that those thousands and thousands of names written on those chalkboards have had? Like,
I think what it does is it provides an avenue for logic to creep in, so that we can then, those people going there, that's great that they might have heard something in the staircase. Push further. Don't just accept that you're going to hear vocalization and that it's a ghost. Go further, have a conversation, see if it actually is a spirit instead of just taking it at face value. That's why I like debunking, because it's not saying that hallway isn't haunted, but what it's saying is you need to work harder in that hallway because another team has figured out an avenue of doubt for you. And if you're going to hold on to that evidence, you need to make sure that it passes the doubt test. And I think that's really, more of that needs to happen in the field to keep us honest, instead of just entertained. So that's what I really like, just always trying to push the debunk level to the maximum, because then you land with things that aren't explainable, and that's what the paranormal is all about.
I think that's a great response, because it really echoes what our intentions are with this show, which is not to claim whether it's haunted or not, even though that was our original tagline, but to say, hey, these are our experiences, this is what we think, and just add it into the collection of the lore and history of each space. One thing I was wondering about, though, Ty, and maybe you remember, because I certainly don't, why didn't we do the Estes chamber here?
The Estes chamber, that's a really good point, Anna. I think the important thing with the Estes chamber, where it being a school the size of it would have been perfect for the Estes chamber. But there's no point in really doing that method, even the Estes method, without first starting a communication of some other kind. So that's why we didn't bust it out that night, is because we were getting evidence. We were getting blips and hits of just tiny little things happening throughout the school, enough to keep our interest in the case itself. But nothing was reaching out in any way that night to have a problem solved or to provide us with more information. The Estes method is almost a way to give a spirit that you know is trying to communicate really hard a pair of lungs to do so. And without that instance of struggling to communicate, not being able to, and then providing a method of doing that, you're just throwing another variable into the dark of, is this just radio frequency? Did we actually reach out to someone? Is there someone here that wants to communicate? Or, you know, are you crushed for time and you're going to spend an hour doing the Estes method and nothing's going to come through? So I think that all rolled up where it would have been a perfect place for the Estes chamber because of the size and shape of the school to set that net. But nothing that night asked for help. Nothing that night asked for clarification. Nothing that night wanted to know more about us either. So I think that's why I was focused on trying to, while you're there, if not, we're not going to get talked to like, say, Belvoir level type of stuff. Let's try to figure out ways that we can help the owners of it, and that's providing, you know, debunking evidence whenever we can. Let's see here. Do you guys have any other questions for us? Because we do have another teaser coming up, but we want to make sure that we're answering your questions too, instead of just talking about ourselves here.
He did ask that he noticed a body of water was near the school. And
yeah, there was.
If there's if that tends to be a greater catalyst for paranormal activity. And well, I think in our experience, looking back at these episodes, it has been typically.
You look at the GRCC next to a body of water. You look at the Admiral Perry Inn, there's a stream out back. You know, like it's so interesting. And there's so many theories that like water and different types of rock like limestone affect a haunting. And if you can have the effect of all those things like environmentally, it doesn't make a place haunted, I don't think, but I think there's probably something that I don't understand within those elemental properties that make the line of communication easier to accomplish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Would you agree, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't have anything other than our experiences to back it up, but I think some of our biggest moments have been places where what has been present. I think Fort Knox is a big one. What with the ocean, right? The ocean itself, and then
ocean
as
and
well
granite.
as springs and the springs underneath. So it's definitely something prevalent and interesting, and I'm sure we're going to continue to see that pattern as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking in the chat here, Dee has recommended Missouri State Penitentiary for us to come out and see. Dee, reach out to us. I think we'll have one of our producers, Krista, drop our email in there. Let us know if you have a contact there that you want us to come out. And all of you guys listening, there's a place that you want Haunt Me to visit, and you have access to it. Just drop us a line sometime. We're planning for the post-pandemic what we're going to do next. We have some really cool ideas, but again, just in the environment that we're in right now, not sure what's going to be possible versus safe. But we want to really improve our idea notebook for the time being right now.
And I would love to have the pants scared off of me. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah, I'd love to go to a real scary place again. I loved doing Belvoir. You know, like I wasn't expected to be as scared as I was, but you know, as much as I love debunking, as much as I love calm haunts, yes. I really love one that's like above my professional grade level, because that makes you better yourself a little bit. But we do have one scene that we want to show for you guys, or to you guys. Next week is going to be our final episode of season 7. It has been an incredible ride. We started in Maine, we went on a road trip to the Midwest, and then we came back home, and we thought that it would only be right to do another investigation in Maine after we slept. Like we took like a month and a half off, you guys. Like, so don't think that we were just like, oh, the 6th one, you know, they're going to be even more tired. No, we rested for quite some time. It's winter in the next episode. But it is the culmination of us coming back. We made a Maine sandwich. So you see Maine at the beginning, the road trip throughout the season. Then we returned to actually my hometown. And we split into 3 different groups that investigate 3 different haunted locations that I grew up with. And the coolest part about it is that after 7 years of doing the show and 7 years of being supported by our family, we invited them to come with us for their first ever ghost hunt, because we knew the stakes were a little bit low at some of these locations. It would be a nice, safe investigation. So what you guys get to do next week Whether or not you want to is you're going to learn a little bit more about our private lives and our loved ones as we each take them out into the field. And here's a teaser for that episode coming up in 2 weeks.
So, I know it's your first time, but this is a K2 meter. It measures K2.
What is that noise?
Okay, anyways, so this is important because of several reasons for paranormal type
I'm
events.
serious. You don't hear that?
No, I just hear you. Okay. The lights go from green to yellow to orange to red.
That right there. What is that noise? Oh my God.
Come play with us.
Welcome to season 7 of Haunt Me, the finale. Our whole family's here.
We'd like to open up a conversation with you.
Hold steady, a delicate balance here tonight.
Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this, Ma.
Opening up the veil even further.
So that'll be coming to you guys in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll have a Tie Tuesday that has been a year in the making. Thanks to our producer, Mike Strout, who's working diligently on that. And then the week after that will be our finale. In it, you're good to see a little mix-up of our character trait, just useful things, because I bust out some magic in a big way in that episode. And that's not something that I generally do on the show because Anna's way better at it. But next, in 2 weeks, you guys are going to see the Haunt Me finale with all of our family members. It's a very lighthearted episode. Very fun to be able to do. And we get to try some new stuff out that we've never done before. So I hope you guys like it. It's kind of a departure from our normal just because our family members there and we're really actively not trying to scare them. But stuff does pop up and letting them know that everything's going to be okay only works for so long until they realize that they want to go home. So I know my group got a bunch. Anna did some quality debunking in the library that she was in. And then Carol, we put her all the way across town with her family. And that's safest for everybody. But thank you guys for coming tonight. Hope you like the episode. It means the world to us that if you can tell your friends about it, subscribe, like it, follow us on these social channels right here. We're Haunt Me Official anywhere that you want to find us. Anna runs the Twitter and the Instagram. I run the Facebook, and Krista runs the website. Also, make sure that you guys pop over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out any of the content that's coming in the next 2 weeks or in the off season, because we have stuff planned to throw your way then. And as well, we only keep going because you guys keep us going. So if you want extra stuff, and I mean extra stuff, cool stuff, our coffee club is ko-fi.com, like coffee. So ko-fi.com/hauntmeofficial. Any type of donation there unlocks the whole host of goodies that we have waiting for you, including investigative journals, behind the scenes stuff, never before seen footage, BTS rolls, and bloopers. Those are my favorites. So if you guys go over to Coffee, they're going to drop a link in the feed right now, so you can go over there. And if you want those extras and you don't want to wait 2 weeks to see some of the footage, it's over in the Coffee Club right now. But again, want to thank you guys for coming tonight. Want to thank Anna for being here. Carol, hope you feel better out there, kid. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks, and then a really cool Tie Tuesday next week. So until then, have a good night and stay spooky.